race.
The longest race in track and field.
Oh, yeah, the longest race had to have the biggest build-up. Nope, hold him up. Okay, didn't like that. This really feels like the end to a college basketball game. Like, do we need to legislate out all of this, or can we just do the competition? I know they're not going to put this on my highlight reel for the Broadcasting Hall of Fame, but man. Okay. And we're off. And Corinna James bursts out to an early lead. Addison Wiley settles in comfortably. This has got to feel, if nothing else, tired, the fatigue, the whole season, the expectations. It's got to feel like a much slower and more controlled pace. And as we say that, Wiley moves up into second. Corinna James of Lowell with the early lead. And they're going out. They're not jogging here this first 200. They're 35-36 through 200 meters.
It's still incredibly bunched up. Obviously this early, that makes sense, but we'll see if anyone, when someone maybe decides to push the pace, if any, try to separate from a pack. Probably not for a while.
Yeah, if you're one of those two non-Wiley contenders, feels like you want it to go out fast, you're hoping someone else takes it out, and then at some point you want to take it. And a big pack here through 400 meters, and it's actually Addie Wiley with a half-step lead. James now kind of takes a half-step back on her. Some jostling, so they really slowed down. They went 36 and then 42.
78 there for the first 400.
And so 78 multiplied out is not anything insane. That's, 1024. Wiley up front at a pace that's very manageable for her. James is up there as well. Sutherland, who we saw in the 1600 a couple hours ago, is wearing a yellow top, same that she wore, I believe, in the 1600.
And I think what you just saw, Kennedy's realizing if they wait forever to make this race go, you're playing right into the hands of Addison Wiley, who can probably kick from 600 meters out and beat everybody in this field. Even after the two races she's had, Sophia knows she's got to start going early, pushing the pace, making it a little bit faster.
Yep. So they went 36 for a 200, then 42, then 40. So kind of a frenetic pace here, back and forth, back and forth. We'll see that how long that goes, and maybe they settle into a pace that is more like 39s or 40s for 200. Kennedy has now taken the lead. She's pushing it. Looks like this is Lila Gillespie of LaPorte here moving into second. Wiley's still in a good position. 240, so 240 multiplied out is 1040. Sutherland has moved up and passed Wiley. Corinna James, who led early, is still in there. We saw most of these athletes in a previous race. Kennedy has put all of her eggs in the 3,200 basket. Well, it's early, but Wiley doesn't look uncomfortable at all yet.
And that slow pace, I'm sure, helps. And she even said it the other day in the interview, like just hang on as long as she can, whatever the pace is. That middle mile is what she was saying. She knows what she needs to do the first two laps.
Yep.
The last two laps, that middle mile, just hang on.
So we are firmly in that right now. Those kind of four middle laps, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That she wants to if she's going to win this race, she wants to hang in as long as possible and use her Addie Wiley kick, patent pending. Kennedy, Sutherland, Wiley's still in there. Remember, we watched this race together up in the press box just across the street here. Addison Canablo from Homestead got a jump on Wiley. Wiley closed really hard the last 300 meters, really, but couldn't catch up. She's got to be thinking about that right now. That gap can't grow much more than it is right now.
And I don't want to say she didn't learn anything, because she didn't run the 16 and the 8 before she did that. So it's a long race. I mean, like you said, she's got to realize if she wants to go for the win, that gap can't get any bigger, and keep hanging on these middle laps.
Kennedy, Sutherland, Wiley, and then a whole pack, mainly of black uniforms. They're going to be at 1,600, so halfway when they get here. And Kennedy and Sutherland have run this very responsibly for the situation. And they're really starting to pull away here.
It'll be through the mile about 5:10.
Yeah, that's not crazy. That's really not.
No.
This doesn't take anything away from Wiley earlier, but I think she's going to be in a fight to survive and even finish in the medals here.
Yeah, and the last, we talked about hanging on the middle laps. The last 2 laps for Kennedy and Sutherland at the front, down to 76 even on that last one. So they really started pushing the pace now.
Kendall Martin from Brebeuf is in 4th. Corinna James is in 5th. Those were the 5 that we talked about earlier on.
And then I also see Lily Myers of Bloomington South in that pack of 6. So that's your front 9 right there.
Yep. That pack is catching up to Wiley. Wiley's now fallen about 6 or 7 seconds ahead of those 2 leaders. 3 laps to go. Feels like this is an important part in the race here, that Kennedy wants to get a jump here on Sutherland. If she could push and make her think about it this far out with 3 to go, rather than just, okay, there's 2 to go. If I can just hang on for 1 lap, then I can kick.
And at some point, maybe Wiley has to tell herself, do my best to get 3rd, because this is the pack that she looks like she's in, about 50 meters back from the line. Another 78 there on the front.
This lap is going to decide the race. If Kennedy can get a gap here and shake Sutherland, remember Sutherland has already run, then she's going to win this race. But if Sutherland can hang on here and keep this gap manageable for the last 200, I think Sutherland's got an advantage with the times that she's run over 800 and 1,600 meters compared to Kennedy. And she is hanging in there against her. A sporadic spring here for Sophia Kennedy, but she's doing her best. 1,000 meters to go. Wiley has done an admirable job of holding off this pack pretty well.
Yeah, you have Kiesler in that pack, Kendall Martin of Brebeuf, Bailey Ranta of Chesterton.
Ranta ran earlier on Chesterton's 4x8 that scored, but it's kind of separated into 2 races, and here goes Sutherland.
She wasn't going to wait any longer.
830 meters to go. Nikki Sutherland from Delta has taken the lead. 2 laps to go. Kennedy fighting back. An official steps into lane 2 to tell him how many laps to do. This girl goes to the most expensive high school in the Midwest. I think she can count to 8. 2 laps to go for the pack. Wiley, Martin, James. Kiesler from Columbus North is in there. Lily Myers from Bloomington South is in there. 600 to go, and they've really picked their cadence up here. Wiley's starting to pull away from that pack just off the screen. They're going to be somewhere around 10:25, I think, winning time. Sutherland's pulled ahead. You can see Wiley here on your screen with about a second in front of 4th place. Wiley's in 3rd. A really impressive triple if she finishes 3rd in this. Let's not undersell that because we were shot for the moon here. 1 lap to go. Nikki Sutherland from Delta, Sophia Kennedy vying for their first state championship.
These are the 2. We said if 2 can beat Wiley, it's these 2, Kennedy and Sutherland.
And it looks like Wiley is going to finish third. Sutherland starting to pull ahead. Some lap traffic here. 300 to go. And Sutherland's going to run under 10:20. Sophia Kennedy with a valiant effort. It's not quite over, but Sutherland's got a gap. It's about 3 seconds here with 200 to go.
Look at the pack for fourth.
Yeah, Wiley's done an impressive job of separating that from that pack after falling back. 100 meters to go. She was second in the 1600, nearly under the old state meet record. This is Nikki Sutherland from Delta. Sophia Kennedy closing very fast for second. Here we go, right around 10:20. It's going to be about 10:22, 10:23. Sophia Kennedy with the great race in 10:24. And Addison Wiley wins the 1600, 800, finishes third in the 3200 here. Corinna James fourth, Kendall Martin fifth, Lily Myers sixth, and
That was Kiesler sixth.
Kiesler sixth. Bailey Ranta looks like came across the finish line there and fell. Sutherland wins. Kennedy second. Wiley third. James fourth. Martin fifth. Kiesler sixth. Ranta seventh. Galisi eighth. And Sorencione from Floyd Central anchored a scoring 4x8, scored in the 1600 and scored in the 3200. A great triple here for the senior from Floyd Central. Those are your top 9. And we're showing you here celebrating her first